Women's rights organization Gender Links has once again joined thousands of organizations and communities. I think I'm going to move that to millions of organizations and communities around the world, calling for basically participating in the largest peaceful demonstration across the world to be stretched into a year-long campaign for equality and justice. This follows their coordination on Saturday of one of the global sister marches that fed into the hugely successful Women's March that protested the inauguration of the 45th American President, Donald Trump, last Friday. Colleen Lowe Morna is the Chief Executive Officer of Gender Links. So good to see you. Welcome.
Good to see you, Leanne.
So, I was watching on Saturday, and I couldn't help but be filled with pride and emotion at the same time. I can't even imagine how you felt watching that.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
For me, it was very personal. My granddaughter were marching in New York. And here in Southern Africa, the Gender Links offices in 10 countries of SADC had organized. And it was during our planning, we took this as a moment to recommit ourselves. I think it's amazing that women's rights is pushing the whole progressive agenda. It is the cross-cutting theme of all the different issues that were being raised on Saturday post, Trump being inaugurated.
Let's start that, because it was actually quite funny. As soon as Professor Adam Habib left the studio, he said to me, the one good thing Trump did is he united women around the world. So if there is one positive to take out of it. But what happened? What led to the moment of the world's women coming together like that?
Absolutely amazing. It was one woman, grandmother actually, in the US, who posted on Facebook after Trump won that, let's march. The day after Trump is inaugurated, let us march. And this just went viral. Social media obviously played a massive role. And what is also amazing about this, there was no funding behind this. This was all volunteers.
Yes, of course.
Using social media, networking, literally across the globe, 650 centers, anything from 3 to 5 million women, mostly women. 80% of the marchers were women, marching for social justice.
If we look at what Trump has done, Trump has said, what has he said against women? When I think about it, I think about that reality show, and I know his microphone was on, and he was being very vulgar and very sexist. That was a terrible thing. What else is it that has angered women? It can't just be the one incident.
Well, there's Trump's personal conduct, and then there's his policies as well. So let's look at both of those.
Yeah.
The hashtag nasty women, which comes from the fact that in his third debate with Hillary Clinton, he muttered under his breath, "What a nasty woman."
Yes.
And that has been appropriated by the women's movement. Hashtag nasty woman, I'm a nasty woman. I'm empowered, I'm a citizen, I have rights. Trump's view of women who are strong, who are intelligent, who are capable, that's been a huge issue, and obviously that all that business around his attitude towards women, his so-called locker room talk, and so forth. And I think the personal conduct of leaders is very, very important because it tells us where they stand. But if you look at his policies, what's one of the first things that Trump did? He reinstated the gag rule, which is basically that any US-funded organization cannot speak about or advocate for abortion.
Yeah.
So he has very strong views, on those kinds of issues. And those, of course, are the sort of frontiers, if you like, of women's rights. These are the hard gains that have been made. His views on gay rights is another area, that's very clearly there's probably going to be a rollback. For women's rights organizations in the global south, there is this conservative wave happening, not just in the US, but across Europe and the UK as well, that has very much affected our funding. So funding for advocacy work, women's rights work generally is under threat at the moment. The globe is also a very nasty place right now. Funding that's available is going to emergencies, crisis kind of work, rather than into this bigger vision around Agenda 2030, the Sustainable Development Goals, and so on. So it's a very difficult time for us.
Has he even addressed it? I think I asked a political analyst who came in yesterday. As far as I've seen, I may have missed something, but I haven't seen him address it. I've seen him address how many people were at the inauguration, how long he got a standing ovation for, and those kind of things. But I haven't really seen him say, I have seen you, I have heard you, and don't worry.
Well, you know, what was his first response on Twitter to the marches was, you know, I thought we had an election, who are all these people marching? Of course, the cartoonists had a field day.
Of course they would have.
With him thinking that all the people marching were marching for him,
yeah.
You know, as opposed to the very sparse turnout that happened on the inauguration day. But, you know, we know that Trump is all about Trump, and Trump is all about America first, America first. His global vision is very narrow, it's very limited. He's been openly sexist, misogynist. In some ways, though, that has, as you know, Habib said, that has galvanized the women's movement across the globe. Sometimes you need to get to the edge of the cliff and see what's down there.
Absolutely.
To be, you know, to reignite.
You
the
really
activism.
do. I mean, when I listened to, and I've got to unfortunately close it off, but when I listened to Ashley Judd speaking, when she stood up in front of that crowd, if you haven't heard it, please Google it and listen to it. In fact, I did tweet it when it happened. I mean, that really spoke amazingly and powerfully. But this anger, this mobilization is something that you, along with a lot of other organizations, are calling for to carry on for the year. How do we get involved? What is it all about?
Well, the organizers of the march, for a start, have already set out a sort of an agenda for the next 100 days to make sure that this energy doesn't dissipate.
Yes.
I think if you take us at an organizational level, we are using it to recharge our batteries to say whatever the challenges are. You know, of course, women's rights for us is a 365-day campaign. But I think this gives us added impetus. We're able to say we're part of a global movement for change. And I'm very encouraged by the fact that it's bringing in all these diverse issues, social justice issues, and that the women's rights movement is at the front of that, because women's rights cuts across everything.
Indeed.
Whether you're talking about xenophobia, racism, any other kind of ism.
All right, we leave it there. Thank you for talking to us here on the program. I know we'll see lots more of you through the year. I'm very much so in support of this, and I do hope a lot of other women will get behind us, and men, because it's for all of us. Go to that website, www.womensmarch.com. Colleen Lowe, thank you for talking to us. Always great having you here. Thank you very, very much. All right, let's take a break, and we'll see you with the news at 8 after this.